want to thank the industry. They've supported me over a long time. I care about the industry, I care about the people, and you'll see me around. But I wish the next CEO the best of luck as well.
But we got it wrong. I got it wrong. The Cabinet got it wrong. The government got it wrong.
Less than 3 months after the then coalition government proclaimed a ban on greyhound racing in New South Wales, they performed a complete backflip on that decision and, in their words, gave the industry one more chance to reform. But there was no doubt about it. The industry was on life support and desperately needed someone to resuscitate it. Tony Mestrov was appointed CEO of Greyhound Racing New South Wales in November 2017, but now says he didn't realise the depth of what confronted him.
Tony, did you really know the enormity of the job when you took it over in 2017? Did you know what you're actually getting in for?
No, I don't think I did, Duke. I remember taking the role, being excited about the role, doing plenty of homework on the role. I don't think anything prepared me for day one. I remember meeting with the staff, going through different parts of the business, and I remember going back to my office about 3 o'clock and sitting there and saying, what the hell have I done? and truthfully, what the hell have I done? And then over the next 2 months, I put together a plan how to fix it. There was all kinds of issues around competency. A lot of the staff that had been there during the closure, but also some of them contributed to the closure as well. And they were well-meaning, but there just wasn't the competency there. So I proceeded to change that over the next 6 months. And now we sit here, we've got a terrific staff group and a place to be proud of, but it was dark days in the beginning, Duke.
Following a successful rugby league career both in Australia and the UK, Mestrov's introduction to greyhound racing was a baptism of fire. Time was of the essence when it came to reinvigorating the industry to its former glory and restoring its social licence with the public.
There was a number of things, Duke, I had to do. I think the first thing was around re-establishing the name of greyhounds. It didn't have the best name given it went through a live baiting issue for a while. So I think the first thing was to put faith back in welfare. Welfare, I always say this, is at the forefront of everything we do. And I think that helped. If we didn't restore the welfare, the industry wouldn't be here. So the first thing I knew I had to fix was the welfare. Then that would help fix the tarnished name of the industry. And as you know, there's only 1% of people that are bad in this industry, and that's what happened during the live baiting incidents. And we're able to slowly over time give confidence back to the industry, and the participants play their part too. They help, they virtually self-manage themselves around the welfare. They knew we couldn't go back to where we were in 2016, and they're a big contributor to helping fixing the welfare side of it.
In sporting parlance, Mestrov had been charged with taking a team that was on the scrap heap and turning them into a premiership winner. One of his first victories came with the announcement of the world's richest greyhound race, the $1 million to the winner, $1 million chase, which has since proven to be a masterstroke.
I'm extremely proud of it, Duke. It's the richest race in the world, and you'll see some announcements over the next 2 or 3 weeks to increase that. I think we haven't done anything from a prize money for 5 years, but it was the cornerstone of how we fixed the industry. Internally, we spoke about having a promotion for a big race. We were speaking about a race with, I think at the time, the Melbourne Cup was 400-odd thousand. I think that was the richest race. So we really wanted to make a bang, show the industry is back. So that's where the concept started, and the $1 million chase, the name, I think came last. And internally the concept was ideas were bouncing around, and we came up with that. I remember when you were at Ladbrokes, Duke, and Jason Scott was the CEO, that we sat and spoke about it. He said, look, I'll sponsor it. And that was where it was born. And it was a big day for the industry. We hadn't had many sponsors as well because of where the industry had been. So to do that and to come up with that concept, that was the start of the redemption of the industry. And that showed we were back. There was a lot of antis that were perturbed. They're going, how can these guys come back? It's government money. And the government did put in $500,000 Paul Toole at the time. So that was a massive step and showed the government was supporting us, given the closure, and it re-established the industry.
But despite the surge in popularity, trouble was still on the horizon. In November 2019, Greyhound Racing New South Wales was stunned by a decision from the Dapto Agriculture and Horticultural Association, the landlord of the Dapto Greyhound track, who announced a snap closure of the venue, shutting out racing immediately. Tony Mestrov took the fight to the Supreme Court and won. He considers that victory to be a watershed moment in his career.
It was an amazing day, and I look back at real pride in that day, but you know, my head was on the chopping block because of the way it happened. I was about to get on the plane back from Melbourne, and I got a message from the club to say that we're ceasing racing at Dapto. And I was totally blindsided by it. I said at the time I was blindsided, and I was. And we were negotiating a new lease with Dapto as well. So at the other end, I got out of the plane and my legal team was waiting for me. We'd assembled everyone in the boardroom, and we went about countering it. And I remember going on 2GB that day, and I was driving on the way to Dapto, and I said, I'm not going to accept it. There's going to be a big bum fight here. And that was my exact words. And I was sceptical. I didn't know what was going to happen. And I just didn't have a good sleep. And I was staying in Wollongong, and Ray Hadley rang me at 5:30 and said, you know, I'm going to support you all the way. We're going to get this racing at Dapto back. So I thought, wow, that's a good start. And we proceeded to go to court. As people know, we won a court order. And I remember Adam Pengelly, he was a journalist at Sydney Morning Herald. He was at court, and he was giving me blow by blow feedback. And he said, you won. And I heard him, but I wanted to hear it the second time. And he said, you've won. And those words echo in my ear. And it was a truly great step. We raced that night, and I hugged thousands of people, and it meant so much to them. And I didn't really understand the significance until at night when they were emotional about it. And it was a real watershedding moment for me as CEO, and the industry did mean a lot to me anyway, but I think I showed people that it did, although I wasn't from the industry. So it was one of the great days, Duke, and now we've got a really good relationship with Dapto. We've just extended a lease. So all of that's in the past, and we've got a very amicable and strong relationship with them.
The industry was sailing along in calm waters until the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic in early 2020. Mestrov says it was just another hurdle that had to be overcome.
It was tough. It was, I think, personally taxing both for myself and internally. Obviously, Wayne Billett had been there a long time, and his experience was amazing. He drove it a lot of the time. We spoke 10 times a day, and the participants played their part, Duke. They did anything they were told to run the industry. But in the beginning, it was daunting. We thought it was the end. We thought it was only a matter of time until people did get COVID, and that'd be it. We'd be shut. So we managed it on a daily basis, blow by blow, track by track. The managers at the tracks played their part, the participants played their part, and GWIC played their part as well. So it was a massive industry team effort, but I think GRNSW, that senior management led by Wayne Billett, played a huge part, and you can thank them for continuing racing. I'm only as good as my team. They were amazing, and it was tough times, but we're here to tell the story.
The achievements by Tony Mestrov and his team at Greyhound Racing New South Wales since he came into the business will have lasting effects for many years to come. New racetracks have been built at Richmond and Grafton. Prize money has escalated to record levels and coincided with the emergence of race series such as the Country Classic, the 715 and the Thunderbolt. There has been an exponential surge in wagering, providing the business with a flood of money and more than $60 million in the bank, while broadcasting deals with free-to-air and pay television providers has ensured that Greyhound Racing in New South Wales reaches a new audience and stimulates ownership. All notable and significant milestones which didn't happen overnight.
It evolved over time, but the one thing I will say is I assembled a team that was able to deliver this. That's the first thing. Then the product came. The product just grew from a wagering point of view, and because the product's so good, you can keep working on the product from a wagering prize money point of view, and it just got bigger and better. When COVID hit, we worked on our relationship with the Daily Telegraph and marketing. We'd started that relationship very closely with them, and that grew the industry. They go, wow, we haven't heard of greyhounds for a long time. So I think we grew the product, we had the right people, and we were enabled to make products up. Every day we'd come to work, and we work as hard as we can. We had a passionate, dedicated group that would come to work and say, right, we want to progress this industry. And that kind of attitude was all throughout the organisation. We were able to achieve as a collective. No matter what you look at wagering, you look from a revenue point of view, you look from a Group 1 point of view and prize money, we're just tracking in every metric, and that's because of the team internally and the want to keep making the business better every day. And I think that Duke is still in there today and beyond my time as well.
If we backtrack to 2016, the core of the proposed ban was animal welfare, or quite simply, the lack of it. Tony Mestrov knew that to gain the confidence of the government and the public, action, not words, were required. Adoption numbers have surged in recent years, and properties such as the new Londonderry Greyhounds as Pets precinct have been developed. Tony says it was the #1 objective for him when he came into the business.
It was the basis of the industry. We hadn't got it quite right, but this year we're looking at rehoming over 2,000 dogs. Never been before. It's an amazing effort. The purchase of the property at Richmond sets the path for the future. We've also purchased Bylong Park, as you know, where dogs go to chill out as such after racing. That'll be an important cog in the whole Greyhounds as Pets process. So I'm excited about the future in welfare. We know we've got to get it right. We've got to build on it, and it just looks good for the future, Duke.
Tony, we're here at Brookvale Oval in front of the newly built Bob Fulton stand. It must hold a really special place for you. It's where you made your first grade debut for Manly.
Yeah, it holds a very special place for me, Duke. Not many people know this, but I went to school across the road as well at St Augustine's. But made my debut in 1990. I remember not thinking I was going to get on the field. I think I had a couple of Redskins, half a hot dog.
As you did in those days.
Of course, and half a can of Coke. Anyway, it went very quickly. I think Manly won easily over the Gold Coast. I made my full debut against Cronulla in 1992. I was petrified all week of Les Davidson. We managed to win that game, and right up there on the hill, some mates from school wrote the Tony Mestrov stand, so it always, holds a really good memory in my mind of my first grade debut, so it was great to get the win.
As a Northern Beaches local, again, it must be something special for you to come from being a junior player, playing all your junior footy on the beaches and that, playing here, making your debut, and now you come back as CEO. It's a great achievement. It's a great story.
Yeah, it is a great story, and something I'm actually proud of. They do call it the Inship Peninsula. Everyone feels a loss on the peninsula and obviously celebrates a win, but I'm under no illusions. It's going to be a tough job, and people are very passionate about it, but I'm very passionate about this club. There's still a job to do, Duke, although, I am emotional about the club and I want to see it win. You've got to put the right structures in place, the right business components in place, the commercials to get this team going. So I'm looking forward to the challenge and looking forward to making Manly great again.
Tony Mestrov achieved plenty on the footy field.
Morley, it was a big hit. I think it was Mestrov that really got into him.
After playing for Manly and South in the NRL, he journeyed to the UK, where he was a member of an all-star Wigan team which claimed the 1998 Super League Grand Final, a moment he says was the highlight of his career.
It was a real thrill. Not many people would have known this, but we're in the Challenge Cup final halfway through the year, and we were 14-1 on favourites to win, and we lost to Sheffield Eagles. We thought we were just going to turn up and win, so that was disappointing, and we really knuckled down. We played an Adrian Morley-led Leeds, pretty vicious. A little bloke by the name of Jason Robertson was able to score a try just before half-time to really get us home. I think it was 12-8. Andy Farrell kicked a goal, and it was great to get a title in such a great club. And the town, my wife comes from there now. We've got affiliation with the town. It's just a great rugby league town, and I'll always look back at my time with Joy, with those, Andy Farrell, he's now the Irish coach of rugby union, he was the captain, so it was great to get a title up with them. Big club, great club.
While he's no stranger to overcoming adversity in business, the Greyhound Racing New South Wales role was seen as a poison chalice at the time, and many pundits consider the Chief Executive's role at Manly to be on a similar level. In the past 8 years, there have been no less than 6 CEOs at Manly, but Mestrov is supremely confident that he is the right person for the job and can succeed where many before him have tried and failed.
That is a question that I've been asked quite regularly, and I think the first conversation I had with Scott Penny, he rang me, he said, would you have a chat? And I said, yeah, I will. And I think the first part of it, we agreed on everything he said, including the CEOs that have been through the business. I tell you, Duke, my formula over a long time as a CEO has been the first thing, I work hard. I'm going to outwork everyone here at the Manly Seagulls. That's how I work. And the second part is I always back myself. So those two things will hold me in good stead. Obviously you want to build a good team around you to be able to deliver that, but those two factors have held me in good stead for a long time. They'll hold me in a good stead again here.
The legacy you leave will be felt by this industry for many years, and I think it's my duty to say to you thank you. From where we were, the depths of despair to where we are today, Tony, it's quite unbelievable. So, mate, on behalf of everyone,
thank you, Duke.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate that, mate. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you and my staff at GRNSW. I couldn't have done it without you. I want to thank the government for their support during my time. I want to thank the board led by John Williams. He's been an incredible chairman. He's allowed me to do my thing, and that's not always easy. And I want to thank the industry. They've supported me over a long time. I care about the industry, I care about the people, and you'll see me around. But I wish the next CEO the best of luck as well.